78 and 67. Meet the second place Houston Astros, who are 77 and 69. It's game 4 of this series, the finale of the road trip. The Astros trailing the Rangers by a game and a half. The Angels are 5 games back, so this game has a lot of meaning for the Houston Astros, who are 2-7 on this road trip. The Astros family and fans everywhere mourn the loss of Hall of Fame broadcaster Milo Hamilton today. Some of his famous calls are coming up next. In Arlington. What a great career. Here are some of the top moments in Astros history as called by the Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Sitting on 7-14. Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The score is 2-0 Houston. Now the hitter is Will Clark. He's 0 for 3. Swinging a bouncer. This should be it. Davis runs to the bag. Game is over. No hitter. Astros win the championship. What a way to do it. A no-hitter. Mike Scott has just thrown his first career no-hitter, and the Astros are the National League champions of the West.
Yankees haven't had anybody on base with a hit yet. Bouncer first base. Bagwell to Wagner. It's a no-no at New York for 6 Houston pitchers. 2-0 pitch. Swinging. There it is. Here comes Osmus. The score is tied. Bidge wants to make it a double, and he's going to be out. He didn't get the trademark, but he did get 3,000 hits.
Burke is the batter. Ensberg is on deck. And the pitch. Swinging. Lining it to left. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Chris Burke. Holy Toledo. What a way to finish.
So Alan Ashby, and you work with him in the radio booth for 8 years, right?
8 years.
He is the voice of a lot of people's childhoods as they grew up following baseball.
He's the voice of the Houston Astros. Simply, he's the captain. And his preparation, his love, passion, just everything he put into the game of baseball, every broadcast was like it was the last one he would ever give. And he loved it with all his heart.
Wouldn't he like to be sitting in this chair doing this game tonight?
That's what he lived for, in my opinion. The captain wanted to be in that chair, and when he wasn't, he was listening or watching, and always a part of his Houston Astros.
He rose to the big occasion so well. He brought you along with him, and it was a wonderful ride. Umpires are gathered at home plate now, and this ball game will be starting in just a few minutes. And Julia Morales on the field, along with Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, for the finale of this road trip. It's been a very difficult trip for the Astros with that 2-7 record. They are 4-10 in September, while the Rangers have really taken off. They're 10-5 this month. They've won their last 4 games, and they've moved a game and a half in front of the Astros, who still have 3 games remaining at home with the Texas Rangers on a huge homestand starting tomorrow night. The Oakland A's will be the first team in on that homestand tomorrow night. Mike Fiers going for Houston against Felix Dubrat at 7:10 in that game 1 of the 9-game homestand. Colby Rasmus and his teammates ready to go. It's a little bit different lineup for A.J. Hinch tonight, and a major change at the top. Jose Altuve will be leading off instead of batting second behind George Springer. The Astros lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. So Altuve, who's on a 7-game hitting streak, continues to pace the American League in hits. Will be the second baseman and leadoff man. Springer moves down to the number 2 spot in right field. Carlos Correa bats third at shortstop. It's Colby Rasmus in center field, the cleanup man. Jed Lowry returns from an injury to play third base. Evan Gattis is the DH. Preston Tucker gets the call in left field tonight with Luis Valbuena at first base. And Jason Castro also returns to the lineup to do the catching. A.J. Hinch says his team revels as the underdog. He's getting a lot of questions about the Astros' recent slip in the standings. He said this is the way we've been regarded all year. We warmed to the occasion, and they are facing a 15-game winner, Colby Lewis, tonight. And Lewis has really had a fortunate year in terms of an ERA that's rather high, but with 15 wins, Ash.
That rather high ERA at 4.45. 15-8 on the season. Brilliant his last time out in shutting out and defeating the Oakland A's. 2-hitter over 9 innings in that one. It's a guy who is just over the 500 mark on a 10-year career now, 69 and 66. Defensively for the Texas Rangers, they'll go with Mike Napoli again in left field, Delano DeShields in center, and Shin-Soo Choo in right. Left side of the infield, Adrian Beltre and Elvis Andrus on the right. It's Rougned Odor and Mitch Moreland behind the plate. Chris Jimenez.
The Astros are 2-7 in this ballpark. This is their farewell game here, unless there is a 1-game playoff involving them and the Rangers, and that game would be here by virtue of the fact that the Rangers have won the season series, Ash.
It's funny how things can go like that, and you would think if that does come about, that, boy, the Texas Rangers have had so much success here against the Astros that it would be bleak for the Astros. But it's not unprecedented that teams have done what the Astros are doing right now and then seen it turn around. Take, for example, the 2006 St. Louis Cardinals, who had a season much like this and eventually won it.
Jose Altuve steps up. The Astros absorbed a 14-3 drubbing last night. Before that were 2 hard-fought games. Texas winning it Monday night 5-3 on a 2-run 8th-inning homer by Prince Fielder, and Texas taking a 6-5 Tuesday night win on a 9th-inning sac fly by Mitch Moreland. Altuve has really pounded out the hits lately. He's hitting .313. That's 5th best in the American League. He's 4 for 13 in the series. Showing butt, he takes, and there's strike 1. Tony Randazzo is the home plate umpire. Altuve is 7 for 24 in his career against the right-hander Lewis. And he flicks that one in the air. It goes out to left center field. DeShields puts it away. 1 out for Lewis. 92 degrees at game time here in Arlington. Rangers will be home this weekend. playing the Seattle Mariners. George Springer at .259 with 13 homers has driven in 30 runs. He has scored 49 times this season for George. 2 for 12 with an RBI in this series. He's been on base in all 11 games since he came back from the disabled list with that broken wrist. He looks at strike one.
I like this move at the top of the order for the Astros. I like it especially if George Springer takes the notion that he is now a guy that's there to drive in runs and not just to try to walk and get on base.
No balls, 2 strikes. The Astros are currently a game and a half in front of Minnesota for the second wild card spot. Springer stays alive with Carlos Correa on deck. Springer still ranks second among leadoff hitters in the American League, an on-base percentage at .379. The Astros are 4-11 against the Rangers. Therein lies the big difference in the standings between these two clubs, and the Rangers have come on quickly since the All-Star break. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Colby Lewis is listed at 6'4" and 230. He's big enough to go to work.
There you go.
2-2.
We're going to hear a bit from the captain tonight.
We'll hear some phrases along the way tonight. Springer not chasing, works the count full. Lewis is 7-2 with a 4.58 ERA here at home. In the air, and here's Beltre backing up. Elvis Andrus makes the catch, 2 outs.
It's not the first time we've seen Adrian Beltre pull this little stunt, but he just has fun with this game of baseball.
Carlos Correa with 18 homers, 52 runs batted in, has a .273 batting average. Correa takes it's off the plate for ball 1 to Carlos.
By the way, I just gave Beltre credit for catching the pop fly right there on my score sheet.
That's okay. He made you think he was going to catch it.
He convinced me.
Rip foul. Correa out in front of that one for a 1-1 count now on Carlos, who's 3 for 12 in this series. He continues to lead Major League shortstops who have at least 350 plate appearances in OPS, slugging, and he's 4th in on base average.
He just took a swing I'd like to see a whole load of tonight.
Two balls and a strike. Colby Lewis has beaten the Astros 3 times this season in 4 trips to the mound. He is 8-1 in his career against the Astros with a 2.55 ERA. That's ripped toward the left field corner, and that one's hooking, and it is fair. It kicks back. Mike Napoli's going to track it down. That's a 2-out double for Correa, his 19th of the year. Well, he did come up with another good swing.
Might have even gotten out in front just a little bit, but he's strong. He got extension with that left arm and able to keep it fair. Yeah, just kind of reaching at that last instant. But that's a heck of a ball player.
Now it's Colby Rasmus versus Colby Lewis. Rasmus is hotter than a depot stove. He's had a very good month of September. And it's ball one. 19 homers, 50 runs batted in. He's hitting .237. He was 2 for 4 last night. On the current road trip, he's one of the hot hitters. 9 for 23 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. Multiple hits in 4 of his last 6 games for Rasmus. He takes, and it's ball 2. The Astros are 7th in runs scored in the American League. They have had a difficult time getting over the top on this road trip and scoring those go-ahead runs. They've suffered 4 one-run losses in the 9 games on this trip. That's in on the inside edge for strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. Astros 6 for 25 with runners in scoring position in this series. Just slightly better than their average for the season in those situations. Rasmus grounds it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had a nice sized crowd here last night. 34,483. And the fans are into it in this Texas rivalry. That's ball 3. It's a full count on the appeal to Gabe Morales at third. He ruled a check swing by Rasmus. Lewis went the distance in his last start. A 4-0 shutout of Oakland. That was back on September 11th. He took a perfect game through the 7th inning before Danny Valencia got him with a leadoff double in the 8th. So the 15 wins, a career high for him. He gets a punch out. No runs a hit and a man left. No score. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Jeff Bannister's Texas Rangers have been surging. They've gone 23-10 since the 13th of August. Delino DeShields leads off in center field. Shin-Soo Choo's in right field with Prince Fielder batting third and DHing tonight. The cleanup man is third baseman Adrian Beltre with Mitch Moreland at first base, Mike Napoli in left field, Rougned Odor at second base, Elvis Andrus at shortstop, Chris Jimenez the catcher. And it's DeShields leading it off, taking Lance McCullers' first pitch for ball 1. DeShields is on a 5-game hitting streak, coming out of an 0 for 17 drought. In for a strike. McCullers' only experience in this ballpark was a bad one. 1/3 of an inning, 6 earned runs, and he was sent down to the minors after that start. That was by design, though, to give his arm some rest. 1-2.
Since that start, though, 4 starts have taken place, and he's back to Lance McCullers type numbers. 2.88 ERA in that span.
Curveball hit on a line to right field, and Springer's there, 1 out.
So it is Lance McCullers on the hill. You see the overall record at 5-5, up over 100 innings now. A nice ERA at 3.10, despite that unloading the Rangers put on him. And coming back on August 3rd, the defense behind McCullers tonight: Preston Tucker, Colby Rasmussen, George Springer make up the outfield. Jed Lowry and Carlos Correa on the left side. Jose Altuve and Luis Valbuena on the right. And Jason Castro is back in the fold.
Shin-Soo Choo is the batter and the right fielder. There's a quality pitch, strike 1 to a .261 hitter with 18 homers, 67 runs batted in. But the .261 does not do him justice. In the last couple of months, he has been one of the best around. He takes that pitch, and it's 1-1. Choo has hit .389 for September. He lines one into left field. Tucker over to play it in left center, and Choo is aboard with a 1-out single.
He's one of those hitters that scares me a bit when you shift on him. As you see the wide open left side, other than Lowry, he just looks to me like he can willingly go the other way nicely. Let's take a look now at the key to the game, brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Keep this guy in the yard. He's gotten hot all of a sudden in the last 3 games, and he is launching one after another. Hit a pair of home runs last night. Keep this guy in the yard and you give yourself a chance.
8 for 13 in the series. Prince Fielder taking strike 1. With 21 homers, 83 runs batted in. He has a .314 batting average and .444 during a 6-game hitting streak by Fielder. He swings at the breaking pitch, fooled on that one, and falls behind 0-2.
Here's the strike zone now, brought to you by MD Anderson. And so far, McCullers is just filling it up in real good locations. And that off-speed delivery had Prince Fielder completely fooled.
He looks at it, and it's 1-2 to Fielder. Fielder's been on base in the last 21 games, 3rd longest active streak in the American League. Rangers are now 4th in runs scored in the American League. With the shift, Lowry's the only infielder between second and third base. Fielder rips one. Still 1-2. Well out in front of that. Off the plate with a fastball. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
McCullers suddenly up to 96. He started right about 91 here in the inning. And so just steadily increasing velocity.
Now 3-2 to Fielder. Beltre on deck. Colors went to Double-A Corpus Christi. August 23rd, he came back after getting a little rest for his arm there, working on some bullpen sessions, and came back revitalized. He has not won since July 29th. He beat the Angels at home. He has had 3 really good starts and another decent one since then.
I would be inclined to stay away from that 3-2 fastball here. And so apparently were Jason Castro and Lance McCullers. Came with the breaking ball on the 3-2. For me, you stay away from the big swing, and this is the guy that provides a lot of the big swings for the Rangers.
McCullers against the Angels is last time out, got a no decision, giving up 2 runs in 5 innings. The Astros lost that game 3-2.
Once you've thrown that 3-2 slider, now the fastball is much more effective because Fielder has to be completely aware.
Fielder hits that one foul. There's that last start, 100 pitches and 5 innings for McCullers. Dallas Keuchel last night gave up 11 hits and 9 earned runs in 4 2/3. Michael Feliz was the only reliever who worked for the Astros. He went 3 1/3. Runner going, and that's ball 4.
Wow, that looked like a good pitch to me, and I think McCullers thought it was. Castro comes firing out. That's his job. That's a strike. And then Castro, upon hearing that it's not a strike, holds on wisely. But that's tough to take when you make that kind of a pitch and it's called a ball and it results in a walk.
Bringing up Adrian Beltre. Beltre has 7 hits in this series, 271 for the season, 15 homers, 58 runs batted in, 462 during a 6-game hitting streak. That's strike 1 call to Beltre.
See if this is as good a pitch as that previous one. Boy, that's, if you can put it in that spot all the time, you would suddenly become Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux has been sitting on the Rangers bench the last few nights.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Big hook comes in for strike 2 on Beltre.
See Beltre just back away. That mind might have been willing, but the rest of him wasn't.
The appeal went to first. Check swing call by Jerry Davis. It's 1-2. In the opener Monday night of this series, Scott Kazmir went 7 for Houston. Tuesday night, Colin McHugh worked 3 2/3. Last night, Dallas Keuchel 4 2/3. Closer Luke Gregerson should be rejoining the club for tomorrow night's game in Houston after he and his wife welcomed a baby boy. Ground ball, diving Lowry from his knees, and then Altuve on to first, not in time. They get the force. You can put a blue star on that one by Lowry.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And almost trying to turn it into the double play. Altuve, a very quick turn. Let's take a look at the Super Mo replay brought to you by Mattress Firm. And Super Mo shows you exactly what went on with that one. Yeah, that's a heck of a play, and that's a play that hasn't been happening in the series. Everything, it has felt like anyway, has gone the way of the Rangers.
Mitch Moreland gets an at-bat with the shift on for Moreland. Moreland had 2 hits Monday night. 283, 20 homers, 74 runs batted in for Moreland, who's driven in 3 in this series. He hit a home run in Monday night's game. In the dirt for ball 1. Rangers have been one of the best first inning teams in the majors, and have really showed their explosiveness in this series. They had 6 in the first last night, 4 in the first Tuesday night. In for a strike, 1-1. So the Astros have not only dropped behind, but dropped substantially behind in the last 2 games. 103 first inning runs have been scored by Texas, tied for 3rd in the majors. Foul ball makes it 1-2 to Moreland. Big game experience tonight for Lance McCullers.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of that too. I was just thinking the same thing, that I think some people would say this is just too much pressure to put a young man in. This guy thrives on this kind of situation. He wants to be there.
A.J. Hinch said he hopes Lance doesn't try to put the whole team on his shoulders tonight and try to bear more responsibility than he needs to.
You know what? If he wants to be great tonight, I'm great with that. Obviously, a game the Astros completely need.
Leads all American League rookies in ERA and opponent batting average, which is .230. He's second in strikeouts per 9 among rookies. Foul back.
It's a really good job by Moreland just to get a piece of that thing up there at 96.
Moreland's been one of the key components of this Ranger club. But he's 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position recently. Swing and a miss, and McCullers ends the first with a punch out. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded, no score after 1.
Unique home run as he leads the club. Look at this one-handed job, and I mean threw the baseball with that right hand. A lot of guys will go with the left hand as right-hand hitters, but that was thoroughly unique. But the Woodsman able to drive it out.
That was a feat of strength not often seen on a baseball field, especially a right-handed hitter, one-handed with the right hand. And it's Jed Lowry leading it off. No scores. We go to the second inning. 234 for Lowry, 9 homers, 27 runs batted in. The Astros very happy to have him back in the lineup. He's been beat up lately. There's 1-0 the count to Lowry. And to leave the game with an injury Monday night. He was hit by a pitch on his left foot, and he's been unable to put all of his weight on that foot at times to play third base. Hits a fly ball to left field. Napoli, a little bit uncertain, is the new left fielder. 1 out.
Yeah, that's the point where See the smile too. In the dugouts, you'll hear the circus music a lot of times in professional baseball.
So Gaddis, with that big swing last night, hitting his 24th homer of the year, now has 79 runs batted in, a .240 batting average for Evan, who's on a 3-game hitting streak. And he also had 2 other hits last night. Hits his last 3 times up in the game. Strike 1 for Lewis. Since the All-Star break, hitters have managed only a .213 batting average against Colby Lewis's off-speed stuff. Threads that one in over the outside edge for an 0-2 count. Lewis was 10-14 last year, leading the American League in losses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a strikeout for Lewis, is number 2 of the night.
87 with a fastball in that location. That would seem to be a prime hacking material. It's not a big time fastball being thrown by Lewis.
Preston Tucker getting the start in left field tonight. Has a .253 average, 13 homers, 33 runs batted in. He is 0 for 6 against Colby Lewis. Takes the ball down and in. Tucker 0 for 2 in this series. He is 2 for 5 on the road trip with that big 9th inning homer on Sunday in Anaheim, sparking the comeback in the 5-run inning and a 5-3 win over the Angels Sunday. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros have had 2 wins in 9 games on this road trip. They've both been getaway day wins, leading to the happy flight status. 2 balls and a strike.
We're talking about a fastball from Lewis here in the inning between 86 and 88. And it's not like he's one of these guys who moves it all over the place. This ought to be fun time for the bats.
3-1 with Odor out in shallow right field. Now Beltre's moving a few more steps to his left. Tucker fouls it back, and it's a full count to Preston. Social media night coming up tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park. Broken bat, fly ball. Odor way out in right field, and Chu behind him. Odor makes the catch in right field. No score.
to work here in the second after a scoreless first inning. Much different for this Rangers team right now here in this series, but also different for Lance McCullers against this Rangers team. Didn't go so well in that first outing Browning was talking about earlier this year in August. And he said coming back after giving up 6 earned runs in just a third of an inning, he was able to put that behind him. Of course, he was optioned right after that, but knew that coming back here, none of that would be the same. It would be very different, and not because he wanted to make an impression here at this ballpark against this team, but he wants to pitch better for his teammates in his dugout in a big series, guys.
Quality pitch there, Julia. There's strike one to Mike Napoli, a .218 hitter with 17 homers, 47 runs batted in. Napoli went 2 for 3 with a homer and 3 runs batted in last night's game. Hits the breaking pitch in the air to shallow center field for a hit. A leadoff single for Napoli, hit number 2 for the Rangers.
Mike Napoli's been making the most of some opportunities to play a little left field and swing the bat.
Rougned Odor has really been rough on the Astros pitchers this year. 276 overall, 14 homers, 55 runs batted in, a .334 on base average for Odor. Outside ball 1. Odor has hit .367 against Houston pitching. 2 homers, 11 runs batted in the 15 games between the two clubs. Skips rope on that one, and it didn't get by the catcher and umpire. Must have hit the umpire on that one, Tony Randazzo. Castro took off for the backstop and then saw the ball right there.
Oftentimes as a base runner down at first base, you're looking in, you can't find the baseball, and then by the time you do, it's too late to go. You see the reaction from Napoli. He just doesn't know where it's at.
That's helpful to the Astros cause. Keeping the double play in order. The count 2-0 here for McCullers. In for a strike. And that's a big ability that Lance McCullers has. Throw that breaking pitch.
Look at this on a 2-0. That's gutsy, and it does speak of confidence.
McCullers has really had some jams this season. A complete game 3-1 win over Baltimore on June 3rd, giving up 4 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. In the air to center field, Rasmus tracks it in. 1 down.
Bring the whole family out to Minute Maid Park on select Sundays with the Kroger Family 4-pack starting at only $70. The special family ticket package includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a Lot C parking pass. Get your Kroger Family 4-pack by visiting Astros.com/value or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Hope to see you at the final homestand of the year starting tomorrow night. Elvis Andrus steps up. Andrus at .258 has 6 homers, 55 runs batted in. Games are dwindling, Ash.
I was about to say it's rather fitting that the final 3 of the home games for the Astros come against these Rangers.
True. Starting a week from Friday night. Remember that Saturday game, the 26th, has been moved up by the Fox network to a noon start. In for a strike to Andrus, who walks away from that one, and it's 0-2. Like he was upset at himself for not swinging at that pitch. Andrus came out of an 0 for 22 a few days ago and has turned it around, going 7 for his last 19. He has 3 hits in this series, 2 runs batted in. And he's fouled off his leg, and the count remains 0-2. That breaking pitch really is a staple for Lance McCullers.
And he's on with it tonight.
Lance, 21 years old, drafted as a supplemental pick after the first round in 2012 from Tampa, Florida. He went to Jesuit High School there. His father, a longtime major league pitcher. This one kicks away from Castro, and the runner will advance to second base. Napoli moves up. Foul pitch for McCullers. It's number 7 for him.
Castro goes to the blocking mode. Never quite got down to kind of keep it bent right over the baseball, but sometimes it's just going to come off in a screwy fashion, and that's what happens.
The Rangers have hit .293 in their 15 games against the Astros, scoring 85 runs in those 15 games and unloading 19 homers. They've been very potent against Houston pitching. Astros ERA against them is 5.20. And that has a long thing to do with why they're 4-11 right now. Real close, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Andrews is a career .272 hitter coming into this season. Sometimes he is hit at the top of the order, but batting 8th. That shows you their lineup is a solid one. In tight, that tied him up. The appeal went to first, and the call goes to the Astros. A strikeout of Andrews on the Jerry Davis swing call.
Wasn't anticipating this call. Let's get our peek from here. Tough to tell. And that pitch was nowhere close, but yeah, that's a swing. And Jerry Davis got it right.
Sometimes it works out when you miss the target by 2 feet.
Sometimes it does. You'd be surprised in those 2-0, 2-1 type counts when hitters are just letting it fly on a fastball they think they're going to get.
Chris Jimenez, the catcher, is batting 9th. Caught the first 2 games of the series. Hits this one to right field, backing up George Springer. Springer still going for the catch on the warning track. No runs a hit and a man left. No score after 2.
The Astros and the Rangers. Root Sports and Academy Sports and Outdoors have teamed up to help you show your team spirit. Free Houston Astros Crush City yard signs are going fast. Visit rootsports.com/yard signs for a list of available Academy Sports and Outdoors locations before they run out. Remember to tweet us your picks if you happen to pick up a yard sign, which you should. There's a couple we have. This little cutie swinging away. Oh, didn't y'all say that was me?
That was you.
Yeah. We'll flashback
Think of me and
for
my
you.
tutu.
We got the
Love
notice
these
last night.
pics.
Yeah.
They look great in everybody's yard.
We
Keep
have to
sending
get you
them.
one when you get back home tomorrow.
Red tutu. Red
No,
yard sign.
no, the yard sign.
That's what I was trying to figure out. What looks great in people's yards?
Valbuena takes strike one, leading off the third inning. 2:06 for Valbuena. 22 homers, 49 runs batted in. He gets the breaking pitch in. That makes it a 1-1 count for Luis. He's 0 for 3 in this series. 1 for 10 on the road trip. Valbuena even played a little second base last night, with the Rangers routing the Astros 14-3. Jose Altuve came out a few innings early.
Acted the part pretty well out there too.
Yeah, he appeared to be enjoying himself immensely. In for a strike. 2-2 to Valbuena.
This is just not enough velocity to consistently be getting fooled with.
What do you think's going on?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a team that's kind of lost the mojo for the moment.
Well, just checking back this afternoon, the Astros have not been striking out a lot in this series. They struck out 7 times last night, and 5 the night before. And they had a 6 strikeout game Monday night, so it's not as if they're just flailing and missing. They have had some balls hit hard that were caught. But then at key times, the Ranger pitchers have been able to get outs. Valbuena right to the left side, and there it goes to Moreland.
Hit well enough to get up the middle if it gets by the mound, but because it was on that left side right to the glove, a rather easy play there for Lewis.
Yeah, he fell right into that grounder. Jason Castro on a 4-game hitting streak, but he's had to wait a while to resume it. 220, 11 homers, 30 runs batted in, just coming off the disabled list tonight. And he looks at ball 1. So how sharp will he be? That's a fair question. He was placed on the disabled list August 29th with a right quad strain. Well, he's sharp. He extends his hitting streak to 5 games.
All he needed was a little rest, apparently.
Apparently so. He hit that right on the screws.
Well, again, it's just a pitch up in the zone, not a whole lot of velocity on it. You kind of, as a hitter, as a major league hitter, you anticipate centering that thing up when you get that kind of pitch.
Jose Altuve hit a fly ball to center in the first inning. The Astros are 29-45 on the road, 48-24 at home. A real dilemma to explain. Left fielder Napoli comes in. Andrews out. Andrews has all kinds of range at shortstop, and that really helps Jeff Bannister with the decision to play Napoli in left. A reminder now, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Now, this Napoli in left field experiment just started this week, and it's not going to be for just a few games. There are more lefties set to face the Rangers in the Seattle series coming up after this one. And Bannister really likes Napoli in that lineup and is willing to put an inexperienced player in left field to have his bat in there. He'll replace him with a lead in the late innings. George Springer popped to short. Fouling that one for strike 1. It's a matter of the lineup, especially against left-handers. That's what he started doing with Napoli playing left field, that the Rangers had not been hitting lefties well, and he felt that Napoli's bat really helped stretch out the lineup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You'd have to say with Napoli and the Rangers, it worked last night in particular. That 3-run home run, or was it, I think, a 3-run job back in that first inning?
Yes.
It was a big swing.
Really got them off and running. Gave Martin Perez a lot of working room. He went 7. Springer in the air, and Chu comes over in right field for the 3rd out. No runs are hit, and the man left, no score.
American League rookie war leaders. That's what we're looking at right now. On the pitcher side, you see Lance McCullers leading, and he's got a fairly sizable margin there. Position players, Carlos Gray, everybody talking about him being the rookie of the year this year, and yet Francisco Lindor has been around a little longer. He's been mounting the war numbers, and he's put on quite a season.
Correa ready to go here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it'll be the top 3 in the order against Lance McCullers. DeShields, Chu, and Fielder coming up in a scoreless game. Each club with 2 hits, and there's been 1 walk. That was drawn by Prince Fielder, as McCullers had 2 men on and 1 out in the 1st inning, but then he got Beltre to bounce into a force play and struck out Moreland. DeShields with a high flyer, but it's right there to Rasmus in center, and it's out number 1. A 1-pitch out.
Helpful too right now. That's 38 pitches for Lance.
Chu will follow. He hit a line drive center to left, single to left center field back in the 1st inning. He was stranded at 3rd base. The McCullers came into this game with 133 2/3 combined innings between the majors and minors this season. That's the most he's thrown in any year of his professional career. Had 104 2/3 with Quad Cities in 2013. He delivers, strike 1. Fielder's on deck. Chu takes this one to left field. Another line drive, similar to his 1st inning hit. He's 2 for 2 with 2 of those. Julia.
Hey, Brownie, as Prince Fielder comes up, he's been red hot in this series. And looking back on the first 3 games, the Astros have only thrown him 10 breaking balls total. So tonight, the key for Lance McCullers is to have that breaking ball that he does so well with, to have that working for him, and to get Prince Fielder tonight, guys.
Fielder did draw a walk on a 3-2 count in the 1st inning. He has now hit 29 career homers against the Astros, driving in 96, so they're his favorite opponent. Of course, he was with Milwaukee 4 years, playing many games against Houston in the NL Central. Rolls that one foul, and it's strike 1. Another bat is delivered to Prince Fielder. Funny how trade acquisitions are analyzed as a player's career progresses. Fielder, one of those who's being seen in a different light this year after the trade for Ian Kinsler compared to last year when he was injured for most of the season. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a big contract the Rangers acquired. Prince 31 years old now. And certainly with his career path, he was a well-established slugger, but then derailed by the herniated disc in his neck, requiring surgery a year ago, and now back to health and productivity. 2 balls and a strike. He had only missed 1 game in 5 years before last season.
He can swing that stick, I'll tell you that.
Right there on the edge, the breaking pitch works for strike 2 for McCullers.
Backdoor job, stays away, but very deceiving as it breaks back to the catcher.
McCullers is the 2nd youngest pitcher in the majors, behind the Yankees right-hander Luis Severino. Just off the plate on a close one. It's 3-2 now to Fielder.
Just not gonna get a whole lot of meaningful calls against Prince Fielder, and that one is pretty much off the plate, maybe a seam on it.
Now 3-2 with Chew the runner and 1 out. Chew takes off and it's fouled. Both these teams have had an effective running game against the other club in the season series. Rangers are 14 for 17 in steals against the Astros. The Astros 13 for 13 against the Rangers. Astro out to talk it over with McCullers.
Couple of issues going on. You've got obviously Fielder and the dangerous bat at the plate. And then you've got the running game starting up, and you'd love to be as quick to the plate as possible without losing anything on Fielder.
Beltre's on deck. Runner going again. That's a drive foul. There was a fan down there with boarding house reach going for that one, Ash.
There you go. Wow. I hear things like that, and it just takes me back to working 8 years with Milo. By the way, it's official. Prince Fielder's not being fooled by the breaking ball.
No. He coaxes another walk. And runners are at first and second with 1 out for Beltre again.
Second walk for Fielder on pitches that maybe both could have been called. Where's that? That is low. Okay. Jason Castro looked like he thought it was a callable pitch. You see that? Trey Hillman, the bench coach, just came back and said low. And apparently the Astros are able to get the word from back up in the clubhouse right away and notify as to where pitches are.
Yeah, that's the way it appeared. He was saying ball to AJ. Now Beltre, who bounced into that play Lowry made, diving to his left to get the out at second on Fielder. And Beltre backs away. Prior to McCullers, who's now over 100 innings with the Astros this year, the last American League pitcher to throw 100 innings plus with an ERA of 3.10 or lower before turning 22 was Brett Saberhagen. Here's strike 1. Or was he a good one? That was back in 1985.
Yeah, that immediately put you in some pretty good company.
For the Kansas City Royals, who won it all that year. Outside, and it's 1-1. Kansas City Royals have been slipping lately. They're in front right now, 6-2 at Cleveland in the 5th inning. And Toronto is only 3 games behind Kansas City for the best record in the American League. Curve is in for a strike. 1-2 to Beltre. Looking back at the home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo.
Beltre and the fans here don't seem to like it, but right up there at the front of the plate, that's a very good breaking ball.
It really is. Just outstanding rotation, and the location was perfect. Rangers 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. And that is a swing and a strikeout. Beltre looking back. He wanted the appeal to first by Tony Randazzo, who called it himself. 2 outs.
To the man, hitters want at least the chance for the appeal to be made, as opposed to a home plate umpire making that call. And so there's nothing new about this argument, and I tend to agree.
Bannister making his point as he tries to keep Beltre in the game. And Bannister fires away at Randazzo before leaving himself. It's a big call.
And now the peek from the side. Oh boy, that's right in no man's land.
Now with 2 outs, it's Mitch Moreland batting. He struck out in the 1st inning. The hitters universally want the base umpire to make that call on appeal from the home plate umpire. Ball 1 to Moreland. A year ago, McCullers was pitching at Class A Lancaster in the California League. Fouled, and it's 1-1.
And now he's got a must-win start for the Astros late in the season.
It's important.
I always hate to say that because, you know, conceivably you lose tonight and then you go on a winning streak and you wind up winning the rest of your games, and nobody even looks back at that particular game, but it sure feels that way at the time.
Off the plate, 2-1 to Moreland. On the road, McCullers is 1-5 with a 4.93 ERA. At home, he's been great. Check swing call. This time goes the Rangers' way. 3-1 to Moreland.
That pitch count is mounting. And again, that half swing really passing through the baseball.
Moreland had left ankle surgery in June last year. He was limited to 167 at bats. Swings over the breaking pitch.
Great confidence in that pitch from McCullers and Jason Castro tonight. Yeah, that's pure sitting dead red, and you can see on the swing nowhere close. Moreland was going to get a fastball and change the complexion of this game with that one pitch.
Moreland hit 23 homers in 2013. He has 20 this year. Runners go, and it's foul. Moreland had a hit off McCullers in that ill-fated start here for Lance. Back on August 3rd, 1/3 of an inning, 7 hits, 6 runs allowed. The Astros got back in the game, and Texas won it 12-9 in a wild one. They'll turn back towards second, where HOU's the base runner. The Rangers have won 18 of their last 22 at home. They're 37-33 at Globe Life Park. Hammered deep to left center field. Tucker with a long run. That ball is gone. 3-run homer for Moreland, number 21. 3-0 Texas.
So often it's about the big swing, and that's a mighty big one. Comes breaking ball again, but it's not a surprise at this point, apparently, for Mitch Moreland. And second time here in the series, he's gone oppo for the long ball.
It's the Rangers' 8th home run in this series. They hit 5 last night. Mike Napoli single to center field in the second inning. Napoli puts it in the air on the right side of the infield. Altuve with the catch. 3-run scoring on 2 hits. Nobody left. 3-0 Texas after 3.
The dealer, here are your clues for the day. He's the first round pick by the Padres, 2 pitching stints with the Houston Astros, and he attended Lamar High School. But that's in Colorado. Tweet us your best guess. We'll tell you who it is later in the broadcast.
Thanks, Julia. 3-0. The Rangers lead it. Carlos Correa leads it off in the 4th. Ball 1 from Colby Lewis. Correa doubled to the left field corner in the first inning. He's hit 2 career homers off Lewis. It's a 1-1 count. Carlos hit a 2-run shot off Colby Lewis. Last time they squared off here, August 3rd. Upstairs 2-1, but because of excellent run support, Lewis beat the Astros for his 3rd winning decision of the year, 12-9. That was that matchup with Lance McCullers. The Rangers got 6 in the 1st for Colby. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He also gave up homers to Luis Valbuena and Jason Castro, who hit a grand slam, but with 10 hits and 7 runs allowed in 6 innings, he got a win. He's having that kind of a year. Grounded to shortstop. Andrus, and Moreland crosses over to take that throw. 1 out.
Join the Astros this Saturday, September 19th, as they take on the A's. 10,000 fans will receive an Evan Gattis bobblehead presented by AT&T. For more information, visit Astros.com, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Colby Rasmus on a 3-2 pitch struck out in the first inning. Colby Lewis is from Bakersfield, California. Throwing ball 1. Drafted by the Rangers, and then he moved along to Detroit in 06. He was a waiver claim, and then with Oakland and Kansas City as he bounced around to those clubs on waivers. 1 ball, 1 strike. He even played in Japan for a couple of years. Came back to the Rangers in 2010 and pitched in a couple of World Series. In for a strike, and it's 1-2. Back when he beat the Astros in Houston May 6th, that gave him the best career whip, walks, and hits per innings pitched against the Astros of anybody since they've been around. Pop on the left side. Andrus makes that catch. 2 down. We got that accurate.
Well, it's fun winning, but it really is the way Beltre plays the game, and I think he does make it fun for his teammates throughout the entire season.
Jed Lowry, who flied to left field, is the batter. Ball 1 to Lowry in the number 5 spot tonight. He has excellent career numbers against Lewis. 348 with a homer, 2 runs batted in. Has hit big home runs in each of the last 2 Sunday games for the Astros. Rips this one into right field. 2-out single for Lowry. Hit number 3 for Houston.
Somebody handles that mid to upper 80s fastball and hangs it out. Get a few more of these.
Evan Gattis struck out in the 2nd inning. The Astros had been in first place for 49 days in a row until they lost it a couple of nights ago. Line drive left field. Napoli back over his head, off the wall on a hop. Lowry to third base. He's going to be sent home, and he'll score easily. Here's the throw from Andrus, not in the area of home plate, and Gattis has a misplayed RBI double. 3-1.
I think the skip for the Rangers has to realize that he's got a real dilemma out there in left field. Does he want that bat in there that much that he's willing to put up with this kind of defense? I'd say the pitching staff would immediately vote for get him out once he's gotten a hit and helped us out to get on the board. That's just not major league outfield.
Napoli has been out taking fly balls before games to try to prepare a little bit more for this assignment. But he had never played left field in professional baseball until this week. Preston Tucker worked the count full and popped a second in the 2nd inning. Fouls it back for strike 1. Gattis got his 18th double, and that's his 80th run batted into the year now. Gattis is the only player in Astros history to have as many as 9 triples, 24 homers, and 79 runs batted in. He now has 80. All 3 of those in one season. The triples are the surprise. 1 ball, 1 strike. And in fact, only Mike Trout has reached those 3 numbers, that combination, over the last 4 years in the big leagues. 9 triples, 24 homers, 79 runs batted in. That's foul. 1-2. Lance McCullers, Preston Tucker, Carlos Correa, all linked by being taken in the 2012 draft. And here all 3 are in a key ball game just 3 years after being drafted in mid-September. Upstairs 2-2. Maybe Preston Tucker can bounce one off the big split in the wagon gate out in center field.
That would be nice.
Right out there.
Is that it? That is it.
No, that's in left field corner.
Well,
there is not a split in the wagon gate here, but you know, we used to have one in the dome. In tight, and that hit him. Bounced way up in the air. He's not moving. It looked like the right knee area. Maybe the thigh. Tucker just stood there and took it.
And these guys are tough. I don't know how you stand there like that and have that fastball coming at you.
Bounced way up in the air. A.J. Hinch is coming over to see how he is, along with head athletic trainer Nate Lucero. Let's see where it got him. Oh, jeez. That is amazing.
Look at that face. Did I just get stung by something? He doesn't rub it. He fulfills all expectations. Don't you dare rub it.
That's a tough guy.
I'm going with Mr. Tucker from here on out.
Difficult way to get on base. Luis Valbuena is the batter. It's the 10th hit batter of the year for Colby Lewis. Valbuena grounded back to the pitcher in the 3rd inning. Foul tip, strike 1. Never forget Craig Counsell when the Astros were in Florida playing the Marlins many years ago. I think it was Jay Powell was pitching for the Astros. It was a rainy night. The ball slipped out of his hand, hit Counsell in the face, and he never went down. He just stood there. He had blood coming out of his face. That's a little jam shot into right center field. Here comes Gaddis to throw from Odor, and the play at the plate gets the Astros a run. It was not handled by Jimenez as run number 2 of the inning came home to make it a 3-2 game on the RBI single by Valbuena.
Well, that's one of those nice little flare hits that can come in handy. But watch as this play sets up here. Odor kind of took his time before delivering a throw, and I don't know if he doesn't have more arm than this. Didn't make a bad throw. I was just expecting a little more in terms of coming out looking like he was trying to hump one to the plate.
Jimenez whiffed on it. Probably took a lower bounce than he was anticipating, but it skidded right underneath his mitt. Valbuena drives in his 50th.
This throw had a great shot, but wow, there had to be some attention deficit right there. Maybe just focused on what Gaddis was going to do.
Got him on the fly. He was backing up a little bit to try to get the hop. So maybe with that movement that threw him off. But now the Astros are within 1 with Castro batting. He rammed a single into center field in his first at bat. That's strike 1 to Jason Tucker. Now the runner at second, and the Astros are hoping he can run after being drilled on the right knee by that pitch a few minutes ago. Castro grounds to second. Odor to Moreland. And the Astros get 2 runs on 3 hits. Leave 2. 3-2 Texas in the 4th.
Will be making an appearance at Texas Bay Credit Union in Pasadena, and Preston Tuck will be making an appearance at Academy Sports and Outdoors in Missouri City this Saturday, September 19th from 11 a.m. to noon. For more info, visit Astros.com/appearances. Jason Castro returning to the lineup today, returning behind the plate today, which is huge for this Astros club. A.J. Hinch saying he's a big presence behind the plate, and just how well he handles this pitching staff. Of course, the catch and throw ability for him, too, is big. And swinging the bat really well before he went on the DL. And that's one of the things he talked about, just looking forward to getting back because of how frustrated he was, the timing of that energy. 100% running, maybe not so much, but he does feel really comfortable about catching, blocking, and being explosive out of the batter's box, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Rougned Odor bounces one to first. Tricky hop for Valbuena, but it's a 1-pitch out.
Valbuena did a nice job lowering his eyes, bending at the knees, and trying to get as good a look as he could at this, what could have been a wicket in between hop.
Yeah, the makings of a problem.
He's been such a good third baseman all year, but that's in that tough little spot there, and again just kind of lowered the eyes and able to make the play routinely.
Elvis Andrus struck out in the 2nd inning. Astros still have the best team ERA in the American League, 3.49. That's strike 1. After tonight, the games are really getting few for the Astros. 15 more after tonight. 9 of those at home, starting tomorrow night with Mike Fiers and Felix Dubrat at 7:10 with Oakland in town. Social media night tomorrow night.
Is that pitch really high?
We're going to find out.
On. Just consistently not calling that pitch.
1-2. Saturday night at 6:10 at Scott Kazmir and Sonny Gray. Sunday it's Colin McHugh and Aaron Brooks at 1:10. And the Angels and the Rangers follow. 2 hopper Correa. 2 outs. And Jimenez will bat. And McCullers trying for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. He had a leadoff single in the second inning by Napoli, then got the next three. Dan Straley had quite a game last night for AAA Fresno. They evened up the PCL Championship Series with Round Rock taking it 3-1. Straley was perfect through 6 2/3. John Singleton hit a homer. Strike to Jimenez. So they're tied 1-1 in the best of 5 series. They have today off. Game 3 is tomorrow night in Fresno. And also 4 and 5 if there is a 5th game needed. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike to Jimenez. Carlos Corcoran still on the DL. So is Robinson Chirinos. So Jimenez has moved into the forefront of the catching situation, at least for the last few weeks for Texas. Hits this one in the air, and the center fielder Colby Rasmus is in that area. For out number 3 in a 9-pitch 4th inning for Lance McCullers. 3-2 Texas. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Texas Bay Credit Union. Texas Bay Credit Union is the official credit union of the Houston Astros. Join today. 3-2 lead for the Rangers through 4 here at Globe Life Park. The Astros will be coming up with the top of the order in the 5th inning against Colby Lewis. Altuve, Springer, and Correa to bat. Altuve is 0 for 2. He has hit the ball in the air to center and to shortstop. Moves back, and it's strike 1 call. Altuve has multiple hit games in 4 of his last 7. His last 10 games, he has 7 doubles, a triple, and a homer. Andrews to his left with the spin and the accurate throw. 1 out.
Let's take a look now at the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. We were talking about it a bit as the Astros come back after tonight's game back home. 3 with the Oakland A's to get it started. It's All-American League West. The Angels then invade for 3, a day off on Thursday, and then the Texas Rangers. That's going to do it for home play on the regular season. On to Seattle for 3, a day off, and 3 in Arizona with the Diamondbacks. And that's the tail of the tape there at the end.
There's a line drive to right center field by George Springer. Coming over to play it to Shields. He doesn't play it, and Springer keeps running into second. Good hustle by George Springer with 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Very nice. Give yourself a chance, even though you know it's a single. Go down the line with some meaning, and then when you see the bobble, then you've got the extra bag easily. And I'm glad to see George get one of those early good aggressive swings as well. Yeah, right there. It's go ahead and take second. But you can see George was also coming hard around the bag to begin with. That really is the key.
Hit number 6 for the Astros, a double for Springer, his 16th of the year. Actually threw a single and an E8 on to Shields. There's a strike to Correa. That's the 5th error on to Shields. Correa doubled to the left field corner in the 1st. He grounded to short in the 4th. This one goes toward the right field line. It may stay fair, and it does not. Pretty close. On a try for a looping extra base hit. He comes back with an 0-2 count now.
When they start really coming together as a team, you start finding a lot of these balls landing fair. You get those little chink hits, but just not the case here yet.
Angels lead the Twins 8-5 in the top of the 3rd in a slugfest at Minnesota. Twins got 5 in the 1st. The Angels bounced back with 6 in the 2nd, and they're still batting after scoring twice in the 3rd inning. Twins are the closest pursuers to the Astros for that 2nd wild card spot right now. They're 1.5 behind Houston. The Angels are 3.5 behind Houston. Grounded foul, third base side. 0-2 on Correa. Cardinals lead the Brewers 5-0 there in the 5th inning. And the Cubs won a slugfest at Pittsburgh 9-6. Clayton Richard taking that win over Charlie Morton. Cubs and Pirates within 2 games of each other. Pittsburgh is 2 ahead of Chicago right now. Ground ball and stretching out. Here's Andrews diving, and he doesn't have a play. Kept it on the infield, but it's a single for Correa. 1st and 2nd, 1 out.
Here in the inning, Andrews showing how gifted he is at shortstop. But if he had quickly turned towards second base here, he had a shot at George Springer. Look where George is, no man's land. Yeah, that's, I guess, pretty darn tough when you're just trying to corral the baseball.
Hit the thumb of his glove.
He's been all over that shortstop spot.
Colby Rasmus finds runners at 1st and 2nd and 1 out. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up. The Oakland A's should be in Houston, if not already, pretty soon. They had a day game in Chicago and beat the White Sox with 3 in the 9th, 4-2. That's ball 1 to Rasmus. Billy Butler hit the deciding home run off White Sox closer David Robertson. A 3-run shot in the 9th inning, his 13th of the year. Sean Doolittle got the win. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Well, the Astros saw in the beginning of this trip in Oakland how difficult the A's can be. Foul ball. Astros lost 2 of 3 in Oakland, 2 of 3 in Anaheim, and they've lost 3 in a row here in Texas. Springer and Correa, the base runners, with a 2-1 count now. And tight, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
See if Colby got away with one. Very close.
Jed Lowry's on deck. Pull foul. Well, the Astros are 8-8 against Oakland this season. Three balls, 2 strikes. Rasmus puts it out of play, but stays alive. Hey, a fan right underneath us is jumping up and down after his barehanded catch.
Protect the women and children.
He's taking a victory lap up here.
Let's hand it to him. He made a nice play.
He did. Looks like an athlete, doesn't he? He gave it to a kid.
Nice.
He did nothing wrong on that.
Well, I think he could block the plate.
Odor to his left, gets it back to Andrews, and then on a relay, it's a spectacular 4-6-3 double play for the Rangers. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. 3-2 Texas.
Now, after winning the first 3 in the series, game and a half over the Astros, Angels 5 back. Then you talk wild card. Yankees and Astros currently in, Twins knocking on the door. Angels, they're out there on the porch.
Rangers lead at 3-2. DeShields leading it off, taking ball 1. He is 0 for 2 tonight. DeShields, a first-round pick of the Astros in the 2010 draft. Puts that one in the air, and here's Colby Rasmus coming over a few steps. 1 out in the home 5th. So Chu is 2 for 2. 2 line drive singles to almost the identical spot in left center field.
See how the Astros align themselves this time, and I'm looking at Carlos Correa. He started to go toward the normal shortstop position, now moving back to that shift spot, but Chu just looks like he's shooting toward left.
There's a big hole there for him. Tucker's not at all shading toward left center. There's strike 1.
Going to put that shift on, though. That's the effective way to pitch. Pitch in.
1 ball and 1 strike. Expanded rosters. Lots of guys in the dugouts. Foul ball, 1-2. The Dodgers and Rockies a couple of nights ago played a 16-inning game. There were a total of 58 players used in that game. 24 pitchers. And that's a major league record. Struck him out. Nice sharp breaking pitch. 4th strikeout for McCullers.
Or that curveball there, kind of over the top. He just mixes it around. You talked about it, Bronny. This guy HOU has turned into a very valuable offensive player here late in the season.
Yes, he has. Prince Fielder has walked both times tonight. Chops this one, and the shift is on. Correa was slipping and still maintained the play. Falling down, he got back to his left on a dive and threw out Fielder. Fine play by Correa. And a 1-2-3 fill.
And join us for the Badges and Bases 5K and 10K run at Minute Maid Park. On the new date, it's Saturday, October 3rd. Kids 12 and under can enter, and the Kids Fun Run. And all participants will receive a commemorative T-shirt. For more information, visit astros.com/run.
3-2 lead for Colby Lewis with bullpen action going. Sam Freeman, a lefty's warming up. Jed Lowry takes ball 1, leading off the 6th inning. Lowry singled and scored in the 4th when the Astros got 2. He's 1 for 2. He lines this one to right field. HOU over, and HOU winds up catching it about knee high.
That was a battle in the lights right there, and HOU did a very nice job to get the out eventually.
He's got a smile like a torn pocket.
Look at that. He caught it on the, I don't know, was that actually inside that glove? Tough to tell, but the battle was apparently worth it.
1 out on a ball hit well by Lowry. Here's Evan Gattis, who had the RBI double over the head of Napoli, who misplayed it in the 4th inning. Gattis 1 for 2. Ball 1 to Gattis. In for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Evan. There's a guy down below us, Ash, who's eating like the Russians are on Main Street.
I noticed that.
1-2.
Some of the cool lines from Milo Hamilton.
He had a few, didn't he? Struck him out. Number 3 of the night for Lewis.
Changing off of a mid-80s fastball down to 82, and Evan Gattis just completely fooled on that one.
Preston Tucker is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch on the right knee, the outside of the knee, back in the 4th inning. Seems to be moving around all right. He has a date with an ice pack after this game, though. Fouls it for strike 1.
Is that one of the lines?
No.
No, okay.
It might have been. He probably said that.
He started rummaging through the attic there.
It probably was one of the lines. 1-1. Milo was quite an entertainer, and that started with his service on the air in World War II in the Navy. 1 and 2. He came up in the big band era, and he was known to MC those big band shows on radio. Ground ball, and there's Andrews for the 3rd out. A 10-pitch inning in the 6th for Lewis. He leads it 3-2.
September 17th, 1941, in front of only 3,585 fans in St. Louis, the 20-year-old Stan the Man Musial makes his major league debut. That coming against the Boston at the time. Going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Musial goes on to collect 3,630 career hits. What a player. One of the greats.
Adrian Beltre leads it off with a bullpen busy for the Rangers, who hops away from a breaking pitch for strike 1. 0 for 2. McCullers has really had effective breaking stuff tonight. Sam Freeman's warming up, or Keone Keller rather, now in the bullpen for Texas. 1 ball, 1 strike. Freeman was up earlier. Now it's Keller, the right-hander. And there he is. He's been a big part of their bullpen success. That's ripped to left center field on a line, and a run hops the wall. Beltre into second with a leadoff double. 24th double for Beltre.
What a player he's been through the years. I think one of the things that really stands out with his offensive, defensive abilities is just the way he loves to play the game. He will have fun in a variety of fashions out there, always smiling.
Mitch Moreland ripped the 3-run homer in the 3rd inning after striking out in the 1st. Napoli's on deck. That's ball 1 to Moreland. Marlins 6, Nationals 2 at Washington. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Joe Thatcher and Josh Fields are at work for Houston. In the air to left. Tucker backing on it. At the wall. And he has it. Here's the tag by Beltre. He's headed for 3rd base. And the throw pulls Lowry off the bag. 1 long out. Beltre tagging and taking 3rd on the deep drive by Moreland.
I wonder what the 3rd base coach is having to say to Adrian Beltre right there. That turns out to be a very heads-up play, but that was close to being a ball off the wall as well. Had this hit off the wall, Adrian Beltre might have found himself in a tough spot to score.
He might have. He immediately went back and tagged. The infielders meet at the mound. Pitching coach Brent Strom out. Runner at 3rd, 1 out. Napoli the batter. Napoli's 1 for 2. Julia.
Thanks, Brownie. It's time to name that Astro. It's brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Your clues were 1st round pick by the Padres, Colorado, 2 pitching stints. He is Doug Brocail, who is the pitching coach at Corpus Christi and who's been huge in the development of Lance McCullers, helping him get here, guys.
Yeah, not only a fine major league pitcher, but he has been a very good coach. Now the infield comes in. Napoli's the batter with Odor on deck. Ball 1.
Strom was really animated there at the mound talking with McCullers.
Sure was. Two and 0. Astros may be intending not to give him anything to hit. Pitch. He fails to get that trigger pulled in time, and it's 2-1.
Not the first time tonight that Lance has come 2-0 with that breaking ball. He's been in the strike zone with it throughout the night. That would be in that category, though, for a lot of guys of being a hanger.
Strike 2, a big call. We're just standing there. It's 2-2 now.
Does this get to the inside corner? Yeah, it nips it a little bit.
Foul back, crowd chanting Napoli, and that goes back to his earlier stint with the Rangers. Very popular player here. Had a 30 home run season here in 2011, hitting .320, and added 24 more long balls the next year, both World Series years for Texas. He drills one to left. It's hooking, and it's foul.
Wow. Regain your normal heartbeat. Ooh, that appears to be awfully close going by the pole.
Now Correa comes in. He and McCullers talk it over with a count 2-2 and the 7th pitch coming to Napoli in this at bat. Very energetic crowd here in Arlington tonight. He fouls it back.
That's still at 96. That's been the top mark that I've noticed on the evening. He's really done his job. The Rangers are a hot team, and to hold them to 3 runs to this point is no small feat.
It's a good point because their bats have been hard to cool off. Very aggressive team. But there's a strikeout, and what a time for it. McCullers zips the fastball by Napoli.
Back-to-back at 96.
He saved a little, Ash.
Yeah, he's got a lot in his tank, and he's got a lot in the heart, too. Just popped it right down the middle, said, go ahead, my best against your best.
Odor steps up. They're going to put him on with the intentional walk to work to Andrews. And by virtue of Odor's performance against the Astros this season, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in, he rates this free pass.
So when you're evaluating as a manager how many pitches McCullers can throw tonight, do you tack in these 4 pitches?
No.
You shouldn't.
They're not stressful pitches.
Now with that delivery.
But yeah, it needs to be factored into the pitch count. You're absolutely right. McCullers threw 100 pitches in his last start, going 5 innings. He's been allowed to go up to 108. That was August 30th at Minnesota. And has not thrown any more than that in a major league game this year. Andrews is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. So in the mid-90s right now, McCullers might be facing his last batter. Jimenez on deck. That's strike 1.
Try to pin it at the bottom of the knees. Does he accomplish that? That is dead on.
Angels lead 9-6 at Minnesota in the 4th inning in a wild one. Hector Santiago started for them. Foul ball, 0-2. Santiago lasted 2/3 of an inning, giving up 5 hits and 5 earned runs. Mike Trout has unloaded 2 homers, including a grand slam. He has 38 home runs now. 83 runs batted in for Trout. Tommy Malone went just an inning and a third for Minnesota, giving up 5 earned runs. Torrey Hunter hit his 20th homer. 1-2 to Andrews. And a foul ball. Just got a tiny piece of that breaking pitch. Pitch number 100 coming next for McCullers, who gave up the 3-run homer to Moreland in the 3rd inning. Toronto beat Atlanta 5-0 in Atlanta. Andrews with a bouncer. Correa tosses to Altuve for the force onto Odor. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. After 6, 3-2 Texas. Hamilton receiving the Ford Frick Award in
to be included in the Ford Frick Award list of Bob Elson, Jack Brickhouse, Red Barber, Mel Allen, Vince Scully, Ernie Harwell, Jack Buck, and many others. My one hope today is that in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that the man who stands in my spot today will be as proud to have his name with Milo Hamilton on the scroll in the Hall of Fame as I am to be with the gentleman I've just mentioned.
We go to inning number 7, 3-2, Texas leading, and the bullpen comes in. Keone Kela to face Luis Valbuena. Valbuena 1 for 2 with an RBI. Kela in 63 games, 7-5, 18 holds, a 2.57 ERA.
And now you start dealing with these mid-90s arms coming in from the pen. So to me, the challenge gets tougher.
That was ruled a swing for strike 1. Kela has been immensely helpful in the late innings with the lead. Just 22 years old, born in Los Angeles. He was drafted in the 12th round in 2012. He's not given up a run to the Astros in 5 appearances. That's a liner into center field, looping in for a hit in front of DeShields. And Valbuena's 2 for 3 tonight.
Bring on the challenge.
Hit number 8 for the Astros. Jason Castro is next. He's 1 for 2.
How do you play it? You're going to have A.J. Hinch bring on a pinch runner now as Jonathan VR comes out to run for Valbuena. So you put a little speed on the bases. And you got your 9-hitter Jason Castro just back in action. Can you ask him to bunt? Do you want to ask him to bunt? Is the hit and run viable, or do you play a straight up run, or just play it straight up?
You have a lot of questions.
And you haven't answered a single one of them.
Jonathan VR is a pinch runner, and he has 6 steals in 8 tries. Jose Altuve on deck. Outside for ball 1. So VR gives A.J. Hinch some additional speed at first. Valbuena checking out after going 2 for 3 with an RBI. Colby Lewis in 6 innings allowed the Astros 7 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and a hit batter. He's in line for win number 16. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kella, since he came back from Double-A Frisco August 11th, has 12 1/3 shutout innings with 17 strikeouts in 14 games. He's fanned 11 of his last 24 batters faced. That's a ball, and it's 2-1. Jimenez has thrown out 1 of 10 attempted base stealers. Kella has 2 wins against the Astros this year. And he falls behind 3-1 now on Castro. Ranger bullpen in September has a 2.35 ERA, 3rd best in the majors. Castro checks and takes a walk. The appeal went down to Gabe Morales. He ruled a check swing, and runners are at first and second with nobody out for Altuve.
Jason was cranking it up. He was going to let something fly. And that's out in that range where you'll get some called strikes.
Mike Maddox comes out. Kella had just 16 walks at 56 innings coming into this outing. A batting average against him, .234.
Grab your boots, belt buckles, and cowboy hats and head out to Minute Maid Park for Boot, Scoot, and Barbecue. That's this Saturday, September 19th. This event features a pregame street festival, barbecue contest, and country music. Fans must have a valid ticket to the Athletics versus Astros game if they're going to be able to enter the festival. For more information, visit astros.com/BBQ.
Sam Dyson is up in the Texas bullpen. With the Astros threatening here, it's Jose Altuve 0 for 3 at the plate. VR at second, Castro at first with nobody out. Third baseman Beltre in, expecting a bunt. There's a foul ball, strike 1. And Altuve is a good bunter, but he also is an excellent hitter with men in scoring position. George Springer on deck. He shows bunt. No throw, a fake throw to second base. They pitch a ball, and it's 1-1. Altuve's hitting .323 with runners in scoring position with 32 hits and 99 at bats.
Yeah, Jose is one of your key hitters with men in scoring position, big scenarios in games, but I think this is an ideal spot to have him drop down a bunt, maybe see if he can beat it.
Marlins in tight at first. Ground ball, 1 hop. Here's Beltre stepping on third, throwing to first, double play.
Perfect reaction by Beltre. He was already trying to get the feet moving in that direction. Got a great ability to get rid of that throw. That's a painful double play.
15th double play grounded into by Altuve. Now we get Jake Marisnick pinch running at second base for Jason Castro. With the potential tying run represented now by the pinch runner Marisnick. It's George Springer batting. Springer 1 for 3. George lined a hit to right center in the 5th inning and then continued to second on the error by the center fielder DeShields. He looks at strike one from Keller.
Keller comes with that leadoff breaking ball. Great location.
Springer walked the last time he faced Keller. That was here in Texas in July. And went through with a swing. It's 0-2. Carlos Correa is on deck. Springer just got a piece of it.
3 straight breaking balls. A little guessing game going on both sides.
Time is called by Jimenez. Springer strikes out. No runs are hit and a man left. 3-2 Texas in the 7th.
Astros. Time now for the AT&T call to the bullpen as Josh Fields comes on now to work it for the Astros. And that assignment, keep it right here. 49th game of the year. ERA 3.38 on the year. He's only allowed a couple of home runs this year. Generally speaking, quite effective.
This is his 2nd appearance in this series. He comes in with his club trailing 3-2. And here in the home 7th inning, Chris Jimenez to lead it off. Other changes for the Astros. New catcher Hank Conger. New first baseman Chris Carter. Jimenez has flied out twice. Lance McCullers in 6 innings allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, walking 3, fanning 5. Fields worked a scoreless inning Tuesday night with a strikeout. He delivers ball 1 to Jimenez, to Shields and Chu to follow here in the Rangers 7th, with Conger putting down the signs now. And Carter at first. Big rip, and it's 1-1 to Jimenez. These two teams have gone in different directions since the All-Star break in one-run games. Since the break, the Rangers are 12-6 in games decided by one. The Astros are 7-13. That's a foul ball for a 1-2 count. Correa, Rasmussen, and Lowry are due up in the Astros' 8th. Luke Gregerson is due to rejoin the Astros tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park. Tony Sipp is up in the bullpen now. Ground ball on through into left. Jimenez has a leadoff single. Third Ranger leadoff hitter to reach base tonight. DeShields is coming up 0 for 3. He's hit the ball in the air all 3 times. Drew Stubbs is the pinch runner for Jimenez. Third time he's appeared in this 4-game series. And he is an effective weapon off the bench in these pinch running opportunities. Very good base stealer. Around to bunt, DeShields draws the bat back, and it's ball 1 upstairs. Fields in 2015 has 5 appearances against Texas with a 2.70 ERA. A bunt goes out toward the pitcher. And a little indecision. Fields throwing, and to Altuve. He makes the play. And it was close. Sacrifice bunt from 1 to 4. Stubbs to second.
It's one of those really tough, dangerous throws for a pitcher. Coming in, barehanding, pressure's on. You know you've got to make it right now, and you've got to avoid the runner. And Fields gets it done very nicely. See the runner inside the baseline. If you hit him, he is supposed to be called out.
That almost hit him. Very close. Fields is coming out. Tony Sipp coming in to go lefty on lefty with Chu, and then Fielder to follow. As we take a break here, the Rangers lead at 3-2 in the 7th.
Time of the Astros. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Back home for the Astros, Mike Fiers takes the ball, and he'll go up against left-hander Felix Doubront of the Oakland A's. First of 3 between the Astros and the A's, and the first of 9 on that final homestand of the season.
Tony Sipp comes in. For the 54th time, he's 2-4 with 10 holds at 2.08 ERA. Shin-Soo Choo is 2 for 3 tonight. 2 singles to left center field. Stubbs, the pinch runner at second, is checking around to see where Correa is playing behind him. That's strike one for Sip.
There was the high strike.
Tony is not allowed a run in his last 20 appearances. He retired the 2 men he faced Tuesday. He got Choo on a fly ball and Fielder on a strikeout. Runner takes off for third without a throw. A steal of third for Stubbs.
Can't let that happen. You know why Stubbs is in there, and Hank had a shot. I wouldn't say Tony Sip put in a lot of work to be really quick there, but Conger had a shot and chose not to throw it.
Now the infield comes in with a 1-1 count. Choo fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Choo is hitting .209 against left-handed pitching. That Cubs win over the Pirates 9-6 in Pittsburgh. Anthony Rizzo hit his 30th homer. Baltimore leads 4-3 at Tampa Bay. They're in the bottom of the 9th now. This one gets away from Conger, and Stubbs will score. 4-2 Texas on the wild pitch.
When you get this breaking ball as a catcher moving to your left like that from the left-handed pitcher, your left shoulder has to close off toward third base. So you're, in essence, facing the mound still as you slide to your left. And when you don't have that happen, a lot of balls would just kick off as this one did.
The run is charged to Josh Fields. 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run. No walks, no strikeouts for Fields. Flipped foul and still 1-2 on Choo. The Orioles have beaten the Rays 4-3 in St. Petersburg. Line drive hit into right field by Choo. His 3rd hit.
Was actually a key to the game back in game 1 of this 4-game series. Find a way to cool down Shin-Soo Choo, because you've talked about plenty about how hot he has been recently, and just a big part of what the Rangers are doing.
Banging line drives all over Globe Life Park. Brent Strom has come out. Fielder would be the batter. He's walked twice and grounded out.
Brent Strom has definitely had some messages that he's wanted to bring to the mound tonight.
Fielder walked in the 1st and 3rd innings, and then grounded shortstop in the 5th. He fouls it for strike one. Rangers have beaten the Astros 6 times in a row. Beltre's on deck. Cardinals 6, Brewers nothing. Top of the 8th in Milwaukee. John Lackey with a shutout through 7. Matt Carpenter hit his 23rd home run tonight. Birds just got Matt Holliday back off the disabled list. He had been out for weeks. Foul back, and it's 0-2. Oliver Perez has gotten up in the Houston pen. HOU is 4 for 5 in base stealing. Rangers are now 3rd in the American League with 87 steals prior to the Stubbs stolen base tonight. Strikeout of Fielder, 2 outs.
Like so many left-handers, Tony Sipp doesn't generally like to throw that change to the left-hand hitters, but quite effective there. Watch Fielder just reaching, trying to get just a piece.
Do you find that a lot of left-handed batters just eliminate that pitch from the checklist?
I think generally speaking that's true. And it's true also with right-hand pitchers to right-hand hitters. They generally don't like to throw it. Some guys are very effective with it.
Beltre's 1 for 3, a double. In for strike one from Sipp. Miami has knocked off Washington 6-4. Jared Cozart started that game, the former Astro, and he won it, his second win against 4 losses. On the edge for strike 2.
It's that change again.
Cozart now has an ERA of 4.43 with a 2-4 record for Miami. Gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings tonight. In the dirt, 1-2.
Well, that's a ballpark in Miami. Half the games for the Fish that definitely favors the pitching. That's a wonderful place to try to get going successfully in the big leagues.
It is cavernous. Rough year for the Fish. Marco Estrada and the Blue Jays throttling the Braves 5-0. Estrada goes to 13-8 tonight. That's driven to right center field. A long run here. This ball's flying out there, and George Springer went for it. It's off the wall, and the run will score. 5-2. And Beltre winds up with an RBI double, scoring HOU from first.
That's a tough spot out in right center field. With the angle of the wall is exactly what George Springer knew he was approaching. And I wonder if that was on his mind at all. Boy, if he gets his glove on it, you could just about book it any time.
RBI double. Beltre now has a pair of doubles tonight, giving him 25. That's his 59th run batted in. Springer That outstretched glove did find the leather with it, but it was already by him by the time he was trying to reach it out and pull it in. Moreland with a 3-run homer is 1 for 3 tonight. Fouling it for strike 1.
Well, this 7th inning, the 2 runs on the board, very costly as the Astros have gone to the bullpen.
Mike Napoli's on deck, or Napoli's substitute, Will Venable, rather. Edwin Encarnacion belted his 33rd homer for Toronto. Josh Donaldson is 39th. 0-2. Donaldson's the RBI leader in the American League. He has 120.
They will throw Thunder Row at you.
Boy. Very strong MVP bid for Donaldson this year.
Oh, Jose Bautista. Nobody's talked about him all year. He's over 100 ribbies now, I believe. Last I saw 99 a few days ago.
Moreland strikes out. That ends the 7th inning, and 2 runs cross the plate on 3 hits with a man left. It's 5-2 Texas.
Fourth inning, top of the 4th, Jed Lowry got things going. He picked up a 2-out hit, and then Evan Gattis came on, rammed one to left field. That saw Mike Napoli unable to make the play, and that scored Jed Lowry. With base hit dunker there by Valbuena to score the big man, and the Astros put their 2 runs on the board. At that point, a 1-run game.
Sam Dyson on our AT&T call to the bullpen has pitched 65 times. He's 5-4 with 17 holds and a 3.02 ERA. Keone Kela worked the 7th inning. In 1 inning, he allowed 1 hit, no runs, with 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Dyson with the 3-run lead faces Carlos Correa, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Tapped to shortstop. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today.
Drew Stubbs has stayed in to play center field. And Bobby Wilson is the catcher. Colby Rasmus 0 for 3 tonight. Colby Lewis in line for his 16th win. He would be 16-8 if the Rangers hang on. Strike to Rasmus. Colby Lewis would be 9-1 lifetime against the Astros with a win. In the dirt, and it's 1-1. Royals down Cleveland 8-4 in Cleveland. Rodano Ventura started 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Foul ball makes it 1-2. Corey Kluber gave up 2 earned runs in 4 innings for the Tribe. He's been out with an injury. The Royals with the win go to 86 and 60. Two balls, 2 strikes. Angels lead the Twins 9-7. They're in the bottom of the 5th at Target Field. Fouled away, a matchup of teams contending for the second wild card spot. 2 games apart in that standing. The Angels are currently 1 game over 500. The Twins are 5 over. Strikeout, 2 outs.
You see that change-up grip. It's kind of the 3-finger job, the circle change, and Colby couldn't wait.
Dyson worked 2/3 of an inning Tuesday night, not allowing a hit or a run in the Texas 6-5 win. In for a strike to Lowry. Lowry 1 for 3. So the last 7 games, Dyson has worked 6 2/3 innings without giving up a run. He's an extreme ground ball pitcher. To Hopper, Odor. And it's a 1-2-3 9-pitch 8th inning for Dyson. Texas leading it 5-2. Night of Carlos Correa, talented rookie, first time up, first inning, 2 outs, nobody on, double just inside the left field foul pole. 5th inning, he hits one of the hole at shortstop, diving attempt by Andrews, that's a single, and now a play, diving to his left, he had lost his footing and regained it with that dive and made a spectacular play to get fielder. Now the Astros trailing 5-2. Have made a pitching change. They go with lefty Oliver Perez on our AT&T call to the bullpen.
Those are the overall season numbers for Perez. 60 appearances already. ERA just under the 4 mark.
Will Venable, the batter, he's around to bunt and taking strike 1. Venable came in left field for Mike Napoli. Napoli was 1 for 3. Venable, a .205 hitter with the Rangers, has 2 runs batted in. He came in a deal with San Diego where he had hit .258, 6 homers, 30 runs batted in. Sweeping breaking ball and a sweeping swing, strike 2. Perez is pitching for the 3rd time in this 4-game series. He drew the loss Tuesday. Outside with that one, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. He came in with a score tied 5-5 in the 8th inning. Gave up a hit to Prince Fielder in that game in the 9th, and then the pinch runner Stubbs for Fielder wound up scoring the winning run on a sac fly by Mitch Moreland. Up the middle, Correa back, reaching down, spectacular play. Put a blue star on that one.
Yeah, that was one of the golden standards. Watch Carlos Correa go after this ball. I think he might have had time to take one more step and get a semi-plant, but he shows that he can make the play from any position.
That is athleticism. 1 out, and Odor is the batter. He's 0 for 2 with an intentional walk tonight. The Astros have Gaddis, Tucker, and Villar due up. There's a strike, or Carter's in that spot in the lineup now in the top of the 9th inning. Strike 2, Odor. And for a strike, 0-2.
Couple of pitches right there on that inside edge.
Andrews is on deck. It's 1-2. Mitch Moreland's 3-run homer in the 3rd inning has gone a long way for Texas tonight. And they got 2 in the 7th. Fouled on the ground. It's still a 1 ball, 2 strike count. In the bottom of the 5th at Target Field. Angels 9, Twins 7. 6 pitchers have gone to the mound for the Angels. Foul ball, keeps it 1-2. Wonder if that 16-inning game with the Rockies and Dodgers will impact the situation with September baseball and expanded rosters for the future. There's a real movement, Mike Scioscia among those, in favor of having only 25 players available for each September game. September call-ups can be on hand, but 25 have to be designated who can be used before each game.
Yeah, you could have 30 around, for example, and on a given night you have to designate 25 of them that are on the active roster. Yeah. I'm completely in agreement with that.
Strikeout of Odor, 2 outs. Andrews will be next. Andrews 0 for 3. It just seems to be inconsistent with speed-up measures in baseball to have the expanded rosters and all these extra players available for managers so they can wheel and deal and make all these unlimited pitching changes.
Can't help it all there. I would say over the last month or so, games are 3+ hours consistently now.
Ball 1 to Andrews. 2 balls, no strikes. Foul back, and it's 2-1 to Andrews. Rangers won 67 games last year. They lost 95. They finished in 5th place in the AL West, 31 games out of first. Pull foul. The Astros won 70 games and lost 92. Rangers are trying to make this the 3rd series sweep against the Astros this year. They've swept 3-game series both here and in Houston. Now they're trying to sweep a 4-game set. Three balls and 2 strikes. A story today in the Dallas Morning News by Evan Grant about the rotation of the Rangers, indicating that the skipper Jeff Bannister might put Cole Hamels on an every 5th day schedule for the rest of the year, and if so, he would not be pitching when the Rangers come to Houston. He would start Saturday against Seattle, Thursday at Oakland, then against Detroit. And for ball 4 to Andrews.
It's actually the benefit of sweeping a 4-game series like this. At some point, it maybe doesn't matter. You just go out and keep on winning, and that's what the Rangers are doing.
So Hamels could be made available then for the final game of the season, or if not needed, then first game of the playoffs. A.J. Hinch out to the mound to make a pitching change. Pitcher number 5 will be coming in for Houston with the score 5-2 Texas. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. A.J. Hinch is calling for some Powder River right now. 5-2. The Astros are trailing, and he brings in the hard-throwing Vince Velasquez from the Houston bullpen.
Powder River, I like it. 16th appearance now for Vince. He's got that really good arm. Done a nice job. And for me, there was at least one game as a starter I thought he looked brilliant.
Facing Drew Stubbs now. Stubbs came in to pinch run, stole 3rd and scored on a wild pitch in the 7th inning, staying into play center field. Runner takes off, and Conger, and his haste to transfer the ball to throwing hand, didn't hang on to it. Steal for Andrews.
Yeah, that's a pretty good jump off of Vince, but that's It's obviously been a really tough year for Hank in terms of the throwing game, and they've worked and they've worked and they've worked, and it's just not working out.
19th steal for Andrews. Velasquez pitched a fine game at Cleveland, losing it 2-0 to Corey Kluber back on July 7th, giving up 2 runs and 6 1/3. Pitch to Stubbs is up, and it's 2-0. He beat Boston at Minute Maid Park 8-3 with a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs. Beat the Yankees, or pitched well against the Yankees, but got no decision. 2 runs and 6 1/3 at home. That's a strike, and it's 2-1. Velasquez last pitched in the Angels series. That was 5 days ago. Stubbs swings at it, and it's a strike. 2-2. Stubbs is from Texarkana, Texas. Went to high school in Atlanta, Texas, and then University of Texas, which turned out to lead to a first-round draft selection in 06. The 8th player drafted, Cincinnati, picked him. Pickoff play at second, but there's no throw as Correa went to the bag and the pitch was delivered in. 3-2. So Correa and pitcher Velasquez were not on the same page there.
Correa just trying to find a way to get an out.
Runner breaks for third. There's a throw from Conger, not in time on ball 4 to Stubbs. Andrews steals it, giving him 20 steals.
It's not even what I would call a great jump from second, but still Hank unable to make anything happen there. Sure is best if your infielder can stay back at the bag and take that throw all the way to the bag.
Now in this 5-2 game with runners at first and third, the leadoff spot comes up. Catcher Bobby Wilson is in that spot. .192 with 1 homer, 13 runs batted in. That homer came last night. He got the starting assignment and homered in the 7th inning off Michael Phillies. He hadn't gone deep in a while.
Not sure the Astros even throw through here if Stubbs takes off.
And the throw goes over. Andrews now has 20 steals or more in his first 7 major league seasons. Three stolen bases for Texas tonight. 90 for the season now for the Rangers. Quick feet there by Vince Velasquez. Vince and Lance McCullers both have been sent back to AA Corpus Christi during this season to govern the innings that they were piling up. In tight. 1-0 to Wilson. Seems to have worked well. Both have thrown the ball exceptionally well since they came back from Corpus Christi. Both were on about a 2-week bullpen throwing plan. Didn't pitch in games, but continue to work on things, try to improve their stuff, and yet not pile up innings in games. Line drive over Lowry into the left field corner. That scores Andrews. And a stop sign at third on an RBI double by Wilson. 6-2 Texas.
Bobby Wilson reacting at second base as if he had just driven in the go-ahead run. you got to hand it to the Rangers. They have really played well here in the series.
And they poured it on. They go for the jugular, and they keep on pushing hard when they have the lead. HOU is the batter. HOU is 3 for 4. It's 9 hits now for Texas, 8 for Houston. Each club has left 6 men. Ball 1 from Velasquez. Velasquez is 23 years old, from Pomona, California. Second-round pick in the 2010 draft. He has been injured just about every year prior to this one. Liner into right center. He'll drive in 2 to make it 8-2 now. 4th hit of the night for HOU. 69 runs batted in.
Well, those guys certainly have reason to celebrate. They've taken on a 4-game series and made life really miserable for the Astros.
Well, the first 2 games were close. Last night a blowout win at 14-3, and tonight now it's 8-2. It's 3-2 going to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Looks like Vince is pretty upset with himself, and you can understand that.
HOU has tied his career high with a 4-hit game. It's the 12th time he's done it. Fielder is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. In the air, Fowler, strike 1 to Fielder.
A fella down here that took off running all around about 5 innings ago just caught another foul ball.
He's in the right spot. 2 in 1 night.
He's got a high fielding percentage tonight.
He might get another one. Oh, it was about 2 feet to his left. 0-2. That would have been amazing. There's the guy. He's caught 2 already. Just about got a 3rd one.
He hasn't kept either one either. He's a giver. I'm not so sure he couldn't have gone after that one too. I think he was just going to let others have a good time.
Flared foul. He's hotter than a depot stove.
There you go. Yes, he is. Earned a couple of blue stars tonight.
He's been involved, in one of those flip it, fire it double plays.
Oh, yes. He came loaded for bear.
Swing and a miss, and Fielder is down on strikes. To win the 8th inning, the Rangers pour it on with 3 runs on 2 hits. They leave a man, and they're up 8-2.
Texas Ranger. Mitch Moreland was the villain. Second opposite field home run in the series. It was a big 3-run job against Lance McCullers, who otherwise pitched very well tonight. Gave his team a chance to win, but Mitch McCullers and teammates have been just a bit too much in the series.
Ross Ohlendorf is getting ready for the top of the 9th inning. Texas trying to close out a 4-game sweep of the Astros. Ohlendorf in 13 games is 2-0 with 5 holds. His ERA is 2.25. He's from Houston, went to Princeton University. He's pitched for the Yankees, Pittsburgh, San Diego, and Washington.
It's going to give you a little throwback Thursday right here.
Yeah, he is. Gaddis throws the bat back off the screen, and it's strike one.
That he tried that one-handed swing again that produced the home run last night.
That was incredible last night.
Yeah, you know, and again, we've seen it many times where the bottom hand stays on the bat, but Gaddis last night, and there it was, coming right out of the right hand while the left hand was already off the bat. Don't know what's going on there. I don't think Preston Tucker has an answer for it either.
Gaddis has a double in 3 trips. 1-1. One and 2 for Ohlendorf. Ohlendorf worked 2/3 of an inning Tuesday night. Didn't give up a hit or a run. We talked about that old-fashioned wind-up.
What if he throws a fork ball?
Ground ball to third. Beltrade. 1 out. Well, he might be an Elroy face type guy.
Stay tuned for Astros postgame presented by Houston Methodist. That'll be with Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton. Sure, he's got an in-shoot.
Oh, yeah. Preston Tucker is 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch. Crowd chanting sweep. 6 road games remaining for the Astros after tonight. 3 in Seattle, 3 in Arizona. To wrap up the season. There's a strike. The Astros are 29-45 on the road. At home, they're 48-24. In for a strike. 0-2 to Tucker. $31,122 to paid attendance tonight. Strikeout. Number 6 of the night for Ranger pitching. Chris Carter is the batter. First time up for Carter tonight. Fans are into it. The Rangers are out away from leading by 2.5 games on the Astros in the AL West. Carter rocks a line drive into right field. Keeps it going for the Astros with the 2-out single. He's aboard for Hank Conger.
Anaheim started with 1 hit.
That's true. Conger, a .221 hitter, has 11 homers, 33 runs batted in. As a left-handed batter, a .270 hitter with a .540 slugging percentage. And it's ball 1. Jason Castro started. He was 1 for 2 with a walk. He left for pinch runner Jake Marisnick. Conger taking over at that point behind the plate. Check swing roller to Ollendorf for the final out. The Rangers sweep a 4-game series from the Astros. The Rangers have a 2.5-game lead in the AL West. They have 16 games to go. The Astros 2-8 on this road trip. They go to 77-70 with this 8-2 win for the Rangers tonight.